says we're going live. It says we're going live. It says we're live.
All right, let me see.
All right, I think we're live. I think we're good. Yeah, it looks like we're good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roundtable with the Stream Team. This is where we talk to some amazing content creators about their transition into the content creator world and where they are today. I would like to welcome today to our roundtable PTK Blam. How are you doing, man? How are things?
I am fantastic, man. Just happy to be on the show, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. It was a great opportunity. I love what you guys are doing. So I know you guys are part of that, like Iron Lords, that big circle that they got going on over there. So appreciate everything you guys doing. But I'm extremely excited, man. Just glad to be here.
I'm happy you were able to come on, and like I was saying, I saw your excitement in Twitter, and you were like, "I want to come on." I was like, "I want you here." I was like, "I want those people that are here that want to be here and they want to talk and they want to chat." And I was like, "Fantastic! This is going to be great." So that's great. I can't wait to ask you a bunch more questions. So we got today, L Boogie. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm not too bad. Hanging in there, just chilling.
Right.
And we got the little man. MJ is a boss.
Yep,
Finally gets away from his college life for an hour.
And this time I have the webcam on.
Oh, look at that! And the beard.
Yep.
What is look at this? What? It's crazy.
What?
It's full. I'm just
Look
saying,
different than PAX.
dude. Your bearded PAX was so patchy. It was super patchy.
Yeah.
And now it's dude, that's a good beard. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come full. It's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you some beard regiment stuff for when back in the day, when I had one. So anyway, what we're all here for is to see PTK Blam. How are you? What is going on? And what started making you want to get into this content creator realm?
Well, first and foremost, I'm great. I'm fantastic. Just working. Obviously just got off work like an hour and a half ago. Obviously working on the channel as well. So just to answer your first question, what got me into it? Just to start from the beginning, I've been doing YouTube for about 3.5, going on 4 years. Fairly successful, I'd say, in my eyes, I guess. But what started me was honestly back in 2013. When the new consoles first came out. I was getting all my news from IGN, the big websites, and I didn't necessarily agree with the information that they were putting out. So I'm like, well, is there anywhere else that I can find this news? So I went to YouTube and all these other places, and there was really nobody else speaking. I'm an Xbox fan. If you didn't know, sorry guys, chat, but I play everything. But
most of the stars, so it's okay.
Yeah. So but either way, I was just looking for some information, and I have found very few people that provided the information or just a different opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I decided, well, why the hell not? I have a voice, I have a computer, I have all these things to make these videos and put out my own information, just my own thoughts. So that's kind of what got me started. And then I found Twitter, which opened up my eyes, because once I hit Twitter, I realized there's other people out there and there's a larger community that I can reach that have even they don't have the same opinion, but we're talking about the same kinds of things. So that's kind of what got me into it. Then I found other content creators, it kind of snowballed from there.
So the other content creators that you kind of have gravitated towards, are they like friends of yours? Or are they just people that you found when you were just on Twitter, or people that enjoy each other's companies, or what?
Well, they became friends over time. Just to name a few, Next Gen was like the very first person I found. Next Gen 720. That just randomly found them. Crap, obviously. A couple other people. At the time, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you were even doing podcasts back then, like that long ago. But there was very little. There was no podcasts really at that point. There was really not a community. So they were doing the first one. So those guys and Mooch along the way. Then me and Mooch, fun fact, me and Mooch used to play video games together before he started a podcast. And I didn't even know he was on the podcast till me and him just randomly were talking in a party chat one day on Xbox. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing this podcast called BGSC. I'm like, dude, I watched that show. He's like, oh, I'm like, what? So we ended up just kind of everything, but it was kind of cool. But either way, these are people that I've built friendships with over time. So Tim Dog, my very first podcast I've ever did, he was my first guest. Aaron Greenberg was actually my first guest on my very first podcast. So that was incredibly fun. But yeah, just people that I built
Name
relationships.
drop.
Hey, I mean, I got to throw it out there.
Let me go pick these up on the floor for you.
Shout out to
Sorry.
Right.
Shout out to Addict in the chat.
Oh, Addict, what is going on, dude? Lurking probably from work.
So yeah, that's kind of how it kind of snowballed from there, just building relationships. And a lot of that had to do with just Twitter. A lot of that came from talking to people consistently on Twitter and then realizing, hey, these guys make YouTube videos as well.
Well, that's great. That's great. So when you started your YouTube channel, was it just the YouTube channel itself, or did you go, hey, I'm going to go straight for the podcast?
It was just a channel. I just wanted to do videos, just normal everyday videos, gaming videos, informational videos. I actually wanted to do gameplay. Like that was my very first thought. I just want to put up gameplay. And then I realized, I don't know if I want to do that. So I thought I do the information thing pretty good. Let's try that. So it's kind of the direction I've gone ever since. So still no gameplay on the channel. It hasn't, been a bad thing because I enjoy what I do now. So yeah, I just really do the informational videos for the most part. And then now the podcast have kind of come along after about probably like 4 or 5 months of doing just regular videos. The podcast idea popped up.
So at what point did you decide that you were going to produce the podcast and have multiple castmates to go forward with it?
To be honest with you, after that show with Tim and Aaron and Chris and everybody, I saw the that it was extremely fun. You know what I'm saying? It was really fun. I love talking with them and just throwing ideas back and forth. That's when I figured out, you know what? Let me try my hand at putting a panel together and doing this on like a weekly basis. And that's when I threw out the idea. And my podcast is going through like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 different iterations, but I'm really happy for where it's at now. But I'd say that was the first realization that, hey, I could probably do this every week. So,
So the Shop Podcast.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with that name? Because that is, I think, a very unique name for a podcast.
Well, my thinking is the kind of conversation we have in a barbershop.
Oh,
it's just that's kind of where it came from. And I just took the barber off, obviously, because we're not talking about haircuts and things like that, do-rags and crazy stuff. But yeah, so I figured that's the kind of conversation we have. So it fit, and kind of in a barbershop, you think about it, the environment, you talk about everything, just whatever somebody brings up, it just kind of comes up. So, and that's kind of how I like to keep the show. So if you ever watch the show, Chad, or anybody here on the panel, that's kind of the tone that I like to keep on the show. It's just real casual. It's just, it kind of flows. It kind of, everything kind of flows and builds on itself. So that's kind of where I got the name from.
Yeah, because I've checked out a couple of episodes, and the way that your panel is, it is super mellow. Like, because a lot of the podcasts that have been like in the buzz, if you will, are more of those like in your face, like, what's going on? This is the news. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. But you guys seem like a group of individuals that are just like chill, like just hanging out. Just be like, hey, did you hear about what happened with Xbox today? How they kind of broke, So it's like things like that where it was just very mellow, relaxing, and it was very reassuring because I feel like most people are kind of like, this is what it is. This is what's happening. And it's more like propaganda and things like that. So I thought it was very good. I thought, I recommend that everyone should go and check out the Shop Podcast. It's really good. It's really good. I like the way that you guys have in your format for your podcast.
Thank you.
So, shout out to Meds and Lady Infamous for stopping by in the chat. Says shout out to Petey. And is that my little bro MJ? You already know.
Nice.
He is. MJ is like the resident little brother for everybody.
Okay.
So you just do the videos. You just do the podcast itself. You don't do streaming. You don't do anything like that. You just do the podcast then, right?
For the most part, yeah. I at this particular point, at one point, it was a mix between podcasts and just regular weekly videos. Then obviously life happens. I'm married. I got 2 kids. I work a full-time job, and all these different things happen. So I couldn't do the full-time videos. I couldn't commit to doing them consistently. If I'm not going to be able to do it consistently, I'm not going to do it at all.
Yeah.
So I know I can do the podcast consistently, so that's why that's continued. And to be honest with you, that's kind of like my fix every week. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I do the podcast, and that kind of rolls into the way I put it together. It's like we all feel the same way about gaming, and that's why it just works with the guys I put on the show, and it's all kind of having I don't say we have the same mind, but the way we feel about video games, are very very similar. So it's been a phenomenal ride. But yeah, that's kind of how I piece things together as far as my content and the way I do it.
Yeah. How? No, you said you had 3 kids. You said
I have two.
you have
Two
2 kids.
kids.
2
Yeah.
kids and 2 kids. And your wife. How did your wanting to go through the podcast and the videos and stuff? How does it affect them when you were like, hey, I'm gonna start doing this?
Well, my daughter, she was indifferent. I mean, they're both teenagers now. They're 15 and 14. They're both in high school at this particular point. So, my son, though, he's been playing video games since he was 0. So, like, literally, so he came out the womb sitting on a lap playing Halo. So he's always into it, and he thought it was a cool idea. My wife, I'm extremely lucky. She pushed me to do this. So I
Right.
was procrastinating and dragging my feet. She actually went and bought all the equipment. I came home one day from work. She's like, "You Ted, you want to do this? Here's all the stuff. Do it."
Yeah.
So she pushed me to do it, and I really, really appreciate that. So my family's been ultra supportive. They love what I do. They've come to appreciate what I do, and just the little bit of entertainment I provide to whoever comes and watches the podcast. But they've been really supportive about it, though.
All right. Yeah, well, that's fantastic because I know that some people they end up having those people on like the family members that are kind of like very awkward and they're not sure how they're going to react, and it's really nice to hear that they ended up wanting to back you up and support you through that whole entire
Absolutely.
process.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, all right. So
I have a quick question. So, how
ahead.
did you get Aaron Greenberg to get onto a podcast?
Oh
First
man.
episode.
That was random as hell. So what happened was we started the show, and me and Tim were sitting there. We're going through the show, and we ended up talking about. We got on this topic about like retro games, right? And so, out of nowhere, I get this. Well, Tim got the message, and then Tim messaged me saying, because he didn't want to say it in the obviously while we were talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, Aaron Greenberg just DM me said, hey, he's listening. And I'm like, what do you mean, like? That guy, like that Aaron, he's like, yes, that Aaron Greenberg. He said he's listening, and how does he get in the show? And I'm like, what do you mean get in the show? Like, he wants to come on? He's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, you're bullshitting, Tim. Stop playing with me. And I did not believe him at all. So then he's like, no, for sure. Like shoot him a message and whatever. So I shot him a message. He hit me right back saying, yeah, man, I don't know how to get in. Can you send me a link? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll send you a link. So it took him a while to get in. I didn't think he was actually going to come, but he actually just jumped in, and he actually brought Chris with him as well. Money Rumble, the guy that does FanFest, the head of FanFest, he came on the show as well. So that's kind of it. Just I don't know why he was listening. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe somebody sent him the link, but he just ended up listening and wanted to join. He said he liked what I was talking about and what we were talking about. And he just wanted to talk. So that's what happened. It was
Yeah,
random.
they're very down to earth.
Yeah, it was super random.
Huh. That's pretty amazing. So you've been doing your podcast consistently now for 5 years? Is that right?
Well,
Or
yeah.
is it
I
on
mean,
and off?
it was because I've taken a couple breaks and long hiatuses in between. So
Yeah. Life gets
yeah,
in the
so-
way of everything. You know
yeah,
how it is.
yeah. Mhm. Absolutely.
So what did you feel was necessary when you decided that you wanted to start this? Well, like what did you like? You said that you went out and picked up the whole your gear and stuff like that. Did you just pick up like a nice mic and a nice PC? What did you end up doing to kind of get yourself going and started?
My wife did. So
Oh, she
once
did.
again, I was at work. Yeah. My wife did. She just went and bought like a laptop, a mic, a headset, all this other stuff, and a hard drive, external, all that other stuff. Was like, hey, this is what you really want to do. You said you want to do it. This is like a start. Obviously, over time you build up, but that was just to get me going. You know what I'm saying? To get my feet on the ground. But yeah, that's essentially what happened. I came home because we were talking about it at lunch, and she's like, "Are you gonna go do that today?" And I'm like, just kind of putting it off. Like,
Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll get to it. I'm still thinking about it, kind of creating ideas. And I got home, and she's like, "Boom, boom, boom. Here's everything. You need to do this because you said you've been wanting to do it." So
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. That she was backing up that much that
Oh,
she
yeah.
literally
Oh, yeah.
like you come home and it's like a present. It's a laptop
Yeah.
just sitting right there in
And I
the
was
bed.
like,
Oh, that's
What is
nice.
this stuff? He's like, everything you said you wanted to get started on your YouTube, so here you go.
That,
So I was like, well,
that's great. That's great.
yeah.
What did you end up doing to make sure that you had growth in your channel? Because you've had some pretty decent growth
Mhm.
for the podcast, for your channel, for everything.
So the funny thing about YouTube is that when I first started, that was my I was in numbers. I was like refreshing my videos every like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You kind of fall into this thing where you just get infatuated with numbers. But I think the biggest thing for me, I just wanted to be consistent and like put out quality content as best as the quality as I could, because once again, I'm not the most tech guy. I'm self-taught, as far as like editing videos,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So I'm not like you're not gonna get, like certain levels of quality out of me, unfortunately, but I did the best I can. So quality was first, and then consistency was the second one. So I had to find kind of a balance between the two, in between my real life and work and family and everything like that. So those two things for me were first and foremost, and then third was being different. I didn't want to put out the same kind of content that everybody else was putting out. At the time there was not very many podcasts or people doing videos. It was very, very little content. So now there's 3 podcasts every single day of the week. Back
Yeah.
then there was maybe 1-2 podcasts a week. So I didn't have to really fight for the space, but I just wanted to be unique and put out unique topics. And a lot of times I just come up with topics on the fly. Like I'll take a something that happened in the news and I'll put my own little spin on it, or something that maybe I thought about it, and a lot of my drive comes from wanting people to just think about what I'm talking about, just trying to push people to think, what I'm saying, push people to talk and have conversations about different things that maybe they didn't think about before. So quality, consistency, and then just being unique.
Cool. So, what do you think is like the first gaming like type memory you have of when you started? Because we're all gamers here and we all enjoy doing obviously that's why we're all pretty much in this type of content creator business, if you will. So like, what is like the first memory you can have, like you remember, of when you were gaming as a kid?
My first memory that I had gaming as a kid, probably the OG Nintendo. Probably the OG Nintendo, honestly. I was a Sega kid growing up. Once the Sega came out, it was a wrap. That's all I wanted was a Sega. That was it. So, but the OG Nintendo, my fondest game memory was playing. You guys remember Excite Bike?
Oh yeah. You know how many times I did a flip and fell right on my head?
That and a Skater Die. You remember Skater Die?
Yeah, I do.
That is well. I had my grandma, I begged her to buy me the arcade controller. The big block, 50-pound arcade controller with the turbo buttons on
with
it.
The turbo buttons with the
yeah.
It was literally like this big.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah,
it was heavy.
Yeah.
Like 6 pounds or something crazy. But I begged her to buy me that just because I wanted to do like some particular moves on the game and stuff. She bought it for my birthday, so that's probably one of the earliest gaming memories I had was the OG Nintendo.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. So what are you playing now?
Oh man, when I can get time, shout out to my podcast mate Fuzzy. We play a lot of Division 2 together.
Division 2.
Yeah, that the update's coming out
tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm excited.
Come on, Xbox
side. Yo, everything's coming out tomorrow.
Everything's coming out tomorrow. Yeah, I think Outer Worlds coming out as well. Outer Worlds is coming out.
No, Outer Worlds comes out on the 24th.
Okay,
that's Call of Duty.
No, that's the 24th too.
Okay.
But you have Apex coming out with their holiday thing, and
you're right.
Don't you say Fortnite?
Something else. Fortnite.
No.
Yeah.
They're doing theirs tomorrow too. I didn't know that.
Yes. Fortnite is doing their thing tomorrow morning. It's supposed to be.
Wow. Okay.
Did you see the event?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Circle
event ended?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in it. I was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it as cool as what you expected?
It was weird. I was like, what is going on here? And then I was like, man, they're about to make everybody sit here and watch this shit for hours. And that's exactly what they did. I'm like, I'm not watching this for hours.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Like, it's still it's still number one on Mixer being watched.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You have to admit one thing about Epic Games. Their stuff that they're doing for Fortnite is
amazing.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's that the idea to unplug everybody
Yeah.
like literally at the same time, like at literally a worldwide scale, like Unplug it's genius. It's genius.
Yeah, I feel like the creativity from them is pretty good on that side of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm excited about Division 2 tomorrow. I can't tell.
Yeah.
I'll probably have problems sleeping tonight.
So yeah, that's really mostly what I've been playing. I'll get home and me and him will jump on and we'll just grind and play. So that my son's been playing a lot of Apex Legends lately, so I've been watching him playing that. He's actually making me want to play that now because I wasn't really,
play it.
Well, I was gonna say, Boogie, aren't you huge into that?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Like it's the only battle royale that I'll play by myself.
Oh yeah, that says something too because I can't get into like those games solo. There's no way I can do it solo. So yeah.
Aren't they adding like a new map or something to it?
They've already added a new map, and then
yeah.
they're doing like a Halloween thing, which gives you Overwatch vibes because they basically gave all the characters special Halloween outfits. And then they're having a special mode where like you're ghost, I guess. So you like look fuzzy and have glowing eyes and everything.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's interesting. Go ahead.
No, so just those for the most part. Those I'm probably gonna pick up Apex here. We'll see what's going on with live, but Division, Apex. Those are really the two I've been playing lately.
That's awesome. Now, do you play Apex with your son? Well, I would assume you don't play with your son as of yet.
No, not as of yet. I'm going to though. Just watching him like get into it and like he's amazing at the game. By the way, he makes me look like dog crap for sure. Like he makes me like I'm moving in slow motion for real.
Did he follow in your like gaming footsteps because he sees how much you enjoy playing?
Absolutely. His mother doesn't. She never fails to tell me that he's a product of me for sure. So, but yeah, he's like I said. Since he was 9 months, 8 months, whatever you want to say. He's been just sitting, watching me play video games with a stroller sitting on my lap. I handed him a controller at probably 3 years old. Play on his own system, or I put him in a game like Halo or something. And he just run around and whatever. So he's just been on it ever since.
I want to eventually when me and my wife have kids, what I want to do is like I want to hand my child like the hardest video games. I want to hand him like Intellivision and just be like, here, I want you to start here, learn. And then we'll proceed forward. We'll eventually get you to the Xbox. I want you to beat Legend of Zelda. Like I'm talking like
you're tripping.
Are you crazy?
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
I'm a grown man, and I wouldn't do that. Yeah, no.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Wait. How old are you right now?
Me?
No. Pete.
Oh,
how old am I?
Yeah, how old are you?
How old do you think I am?
Reveal coming up.
I don't know. Like
you
mid-30s?
You can get. I'm 37.
Okay.
Oh,
so let me know. Unless you're having a child this year, you're going to be so tired that you do not care what that child does. Okay? You're not going to be like beat Legend of Zelda and all that other mess. You're just going to look. Just don't talk to me.
All right, we'll see. I'll put a camera on. But
and then he's gonna be asking you for all these new games.
Oh boy.
And then you'll have to be buying them for him.
No way. I'm cheap. I'm cheap. That's why I play PC because it kind of consolidates what I can buy. So, oh man. So well anyway we'll kind of go back to the gaming subject. So, with the games that you're playing. Do you play any like couch co-op games or anything like that, or is it just mostly the online games? Just those two really?
No. Me and White. So this is the thing. So you may laugh at this. I don't know. You may or may not. So my most played game this entire generation has probably been Plants vs Zombies 2, Garden Warfare 2. So me and my wife play that game. That's like kind of like me and her time, you know what I'm saying? So we'll play that online. She's actually really good at it. She's really good at video games in general. She has her own Xbox, her own TV, her own headset, her own controllers, all that kind of stuff. So she made sure that happened. Matter of fact, I met my wife playing Tekken. Funny story, but either way,
Oh,
So yeah,
I'm kind of intrigued, but
well,
you don't have to make it long
Yeah,
story.
you gotta. Yeah.
You can make it short, but
Oh well, I was at my best friend's house. Well, my best friend's house, and she just moved in next door to him. And I was like, "Who is that?" He's like, "Well, she's new." And I'm like, "Okay, let me."
She's new.
Yeah, yeah, she's new. She just moved in the neighborhood. I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna be over here more often then." And then we just through being around and being in the neighborhood, and we just started talking, because we have mutual friends, things like that, and realized she actually played video games. Went to her house, saw she owned a PlayStation. We played Tekken, and it just kind of grew from there. We used to just play against each other all the time, and then so yeah, that's kind of how it started, man. Just randomly, didn't realize he was even a gamer till I actually went to her house and saw that she owned a PlayStation, and we just played together ever since.
You can be honest. She whipped you every time.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even going to sit up here and lie. It was pretty close. She got a couple games off me. She did. I'm not gonna lie. She used to use King though. She would always just slam me every time, like same move over and over and over. Like I'm like, what are you doing? Like it's hard to play against people who do the same thing. You know how that is, right?
Yes.
It is one button, 2 buttons, and that's it. So, but no, she's amazing at video games. But that's kind of our little side story of how I met.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, so. Garden Warfare 2 was, a thing. So the new one came out. We're getting that. So we'll probably get back into that as soon as I download the damn thing. But yeah, so that's kind of what we do. That's our time. But as far as that, I'm usually playing with, a couple guys from the podcast or just whoever's online at that point. So, and then that's really Division 2 and Apex, which is going to be now. I was really into, what the heck was that game? I played a ton of games. I have my backlog is crazy, like just like all of ours here. So that's not anything new. But oh god, I can't even think.
Do you feel like that there's too many games that are coming out too quick
No.
now?
I mean, you can only play so much. I mean, we all have other things that we have to do. So you pick and choose what you want to play. I don't buy everything. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of, the funny thing, the good thing about this generation, whereas a lot of the free to play games are really good. Like the Apexes, the Fortnite, you can get a lot of legs out of those games too. With Game Pass and the free games every month, you don't necessarily even need to buy anything really nowadays. You really don't. Just wait, pay a little Game Pass bill if you have it, or PlayStation Now, and just do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cost effective now to play those games. So
I'm actually looking to probably because I have a huge gaming backlog right now, but once my gaming backlog kind of dies down, I'm gonna pick up the PC version of what's it called, Game Pass, because I really want to play Sea of Thieves. Because I've never played it before, and it looks so good, and I'm like, I really want to get into it.
It's extremely fun. Yeah.
And who ended up kind of turning me on to wanting to play that is when I was watching El Boogie play, because you were playing with somebody else, and I just remember seeing you guys go through a volcano, and I was like, what
game again?
Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
And all you and your friends were doing was just laughing and just bugging out. And I was just like, this looks like one of those party games that could be a lot of fun to hang out with your friends with.
Shout out to Mostly in the chat. Thanks for stopping by.
Nice. So yeah, Sea of Thieves is amazing. If you haven't gotten a chance to play it, definitely play it. It's I mean, Boogie could probably tell you better than I have. I probably haven't played it nearly as much as she has, but it's a fun game. It's extremely underrated, man. They've done a lot of good things with that game. A lot of things fly under the radar, but that thing still is consistently in the top 20 on Mixer, on Twitch. People really enjoy playing it, and it's a fun game to stream as well.
Yeah.
The only reason why I stopped is because now you have, like, they would make certain events where you had to play with random people. And I didn't like that, because you would get these people that would help you until the end and then shoot you in the back of the head and take your crap.
Yeah, so, that's tough.
Like, that is not fun. Like, to spend hours doing something.
People griefing you, that's tough. Yeah,
I agree. Like, I hate games like that have that option that you can kind of just turn on your buddies like last minute. I hate it. It's so annoying. Yeah. It's so bad. Are you planning on going to any conventions or anything this year?
Me?
Yeah.
My E3 is on my list next year. E3 for sure. I'm out here on the West Coast essentially, so that's doable as far as like travel for me. You know, PAX East and all that kind of stuff. I'd like to do that at some point. Those are all on the bucket list, but realistically, E3 is probably going to be the event that's at the top of the list. I'm definitely doing that. Depending on if I have to go visit family next year, that'll determine whether or not I actually go there. I definitely want to do it because we don't get these new consoles every so often. We get them every 5, 6, 7 years. So the fact that we're gonna see these things next year is like, oh my God, I have to. I almost have to make time to go. So I'm shooting for E3 next year.
I'll see you there.
Oh, nice. You going?
You already know.
Oh, dude. Okay.
I was gonna say most of us, I think, want to go next year because of those, and almost every single person we've had on the cast have said they want to go to E3 next year. You know, with those big drops of all those consoles and everything going on, it's going to be so much better, and it's going to be so much vibrant, and all those PlayStation should be there. If they're not there, I'll be heck amazed, because I can understand why they didn't want to go last year, but at the same time, like, if they don't go next year, I think it's going to be like, it's going to be hurting for them to not do that. I think it's going to be a terrible decision.
I think they will. I think they know. They haven't done anything as far as a show for like an entire calendar year. There hasn't been a PSX, no anything. The only thing they've gotten is a state of play. So I think that, you know, they're ramping up. You know, both companies are. So neither one is going to let either one get too much of a head start. You know, so I fully expect Sony to show up and show out like they pretty much always do.
Yeah. So, have you gone to any other conventions before, or just E3, or you've never?
I have not. So it's on the bucket list. I'm saying there's all these events that I want to go to, even like a Comic-Con, things like that are actually out here in my city fairly regularly. Like every year they're out here. I've never gone to any of those events, and I have to, though. They're all on my list. So
have you noticed on your podcast? I know I'm kind of jumping topics. It's just something that just popped in my head. But have you noticed any topics that you guys like brought up that kind of like impressed you with your viewer count or anything like that?
It's I don't say specific topics, you know, make the viewer count jump or anything like that. It's fairly random. I think just if people have time to watch that week, you know, a lot of times my show is on a Saturday evening, 6 o'clock my time, so it's late for you guys. Out on the East Coast, it's still 9. So I don't know if ideally I have the right time slot, but you know, there's a lot of consistent people that do come. Last week, a bunch of new people just randomly out of nowhere. So I think a lot of it has to do with people having time to watch the show. I was originally on Fridays, but then my schedule changed, so I didn't have a choice but to move to Saturdays. But a lot of the people that were watching Fridays moved to Saturdays as well. So I get a lot of regulars on the show, but then the last probably 2 months, I've been getting a ton of new people, which is really exciting for me because that means things are growing. That means other people are seeing the content. So that's been really exciting. But specific topics, I mean, I'm not really into I don't do the clickbait stuff. So you'll never ever see the clickbait stuff. You'll never see the theatrics. You'll never see, you know, the WWE is what I like to call it. Because there's a lot of WWE podcasts out there. Yeah. So I'm not saying any names or throwing any shade, you know, but there's a lot of that, and I just like try to be authentic and just be, you know, just who I am or whatever. So that doesn't necessarily attract the biggest number, but the people that are there enjoy the show, and that's what matters to me.
Yeah. So when we decided that, you know, when me and Kyle were sitting down and we were talking back and forth, and we were like, well, what time frame will be good for us? And I was like, well, I'm like, this day wouldn't be that good for this reason. This day wouldn't be good for this reason. And he was like, well, he's like, if they're all going to be kind of, you know, not the best options. And he's like, why don't you talk to the rest of your panel and see when would be good. And it seemed like it's a general consensus that Monday would be good. And I was like, that's all right, let's do it Monday. That kind of works for everyone. It's kind of the start of a work week, you know, everyone's kind of chill and relax and stuff like that. And after I think the first or second week, Cog was like, you know what I realized you did? And I was like, what did we do? He goes, it's Monday Night Football. And I was like, yeah, sports. I'm a gamer. I'm like, I don't really mind sports that much. But I was like that. I'm like, so I think that the numbers that you're getting might not be from the live shows, more of the people that like, oh, I want to watch this, and then they're gonna watch it throughout the whole week.
Yeah,
that's
true as well.
Yeah, that's how I kind of felt it was.
Yeah. And that's something as a content creator you got to come to terms with, because sometimes your success, your vision is a lot bigger than reality. And so you can that's something that can work against you if you're not like, if you don't realize, okay, let me take a step back and figure out where I'm going. I'm sure, Boogie, as well as, a lot of us here make content, you obviously, sometimes you hit the ground running and, things happen, things don't happen to the way you planned it or your vision. You could have everything meticulously planned out. Okay, I'm gonna do this time, this day for this specific reason, but it doesn't always work out that way. So you got to be comfortable with that and just fall back on, consistency, fall back on quality, fall back and trust the content you're putting out. So I had to get over that hurdle a couple of times as well. But once I found my groove, I'm really, 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 really steady on, where my channel is going and the people that do show up. And I appreciate every single person that does, come out and watches for whatever reason they watch,
Do you feel like the where your show has gone, you're happy, you feel successful, you feel like it was good?
Absolutely. I'm completely comfortable where I'm at now. And it's actually when I decided to change my mindset, that's when I felt like the show got better. You know what I'm saying? When I wasn't so focused on numbers and analytics, because YouTube throws that in your face right away. Like YouTube throws the analytics right in your face. So you can get over that hurdle. I've became extremely comfortable. I'm really comfortable with the people that are on the show, the panel. I got a lot of great relationships in the community. Like, I'm able to reach out to certain people and get them on the show or just have a decent relationship. We're building one right now. Prior to we never had a conversation, so this is really, really cool for me. But I'm extremely happy where I'm at, and it's grown since then because I felt like I've kind of settled in and just focused on the right things for me, at least personally.
Yeah. Like I said before, I was happy that you wanted to come on, and I feel like when we decided we were going to do something like this, it was a real nice place to culminate a lot of people to be able to meet other people, meet other content creators, meet other people who have different opinions and things like that, and it's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's for. That's why we do this. I love having guests on the show, even returning guests that have been on multiple times or brand new people. Doesn't make me a difference. I enjoy the forum. You know what I'm saying?
What did you start off with once you first set up your podcast? Like what type of mic and stuff like that?
Oh, just a headset. Man, I had a headset, then I had just a Logitech mic, just a regular Logitech mic. It did the job at the time. Then I switched to a headset. I've upgraded headsets over time, obviously, upgraded mics, things like that. But that's just Logitech. Then I had a gaming headset. At the time, it was like a Turtle Beach. Wife went and got me. Like I said, an external hard drive, a laptop, an AC. That was a really good laptop. Actually, I was surprised. Like, hey, you did your research. Like, it was pretty good. So I was like, but that was what I started out with, just something to get me going. And then things have kind of grown since then. You kind of build it up as you kind of know the direction that your channel you want to go, and it depends on how serious you take it as well. Because if you don't take it seriously, you're probably not going to invest in it. I'm pretty sure you over there with like 5 screens and you have 3, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's kind of what I started out with, though, just in the beginning. And you don't really need much to get started, and that's a lot of times people that DM me or ask me questions about that. You don't really need a lot. Like a mic and a computer or laptop work just fine most times, just to get started.
What's some advice that you can give somebody that is just starting the whole streaming, streaming, or even to just the podcast side of
have fun. Have fun.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, because I don't know if you've been through this. As content creators, we go through the motion. You go through this emotional roller coaster with your content, so you're really excited, then maybe the numbers don't look good, so you get down, you start second guessing, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Is my content good enough? Why are people not watching me? Things like that. Once you get through that, you got to realize, have fun. Why are you doing this? Why are we talking right now? Because I enjoy talking to you guys thoroughly. I enjoy video games. There's a common denominator there. So once you realize, oh, that's why I'm doing this, it doesn't feel like a job anymore because you can really turn this into a 9 to 5. You really can, not saying like in that way, but you can make it feel like a day job and you get burnt out, not want to do it. So once I realize I'm doing this just to have fun, that's the biggest thing I would tell somebody is just getting started.
Yeah, there's a couple of content creators that is in our circle that they do like 3 or 4 podcasts a week.
It's crazy, yeah.
And like I'm just like applaud them because they're doing it because they love it. Yeah. And that's like what I think is the best thing is like people are going to do these things because they love doing it.
Yeah, but you can't lose sight of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's and then eventually you'll make this huge kingdom and then you can just hand it off to your kids.
Yeah, that's obviously all of us want to be like this huge. So I mean it is what it is. Whatever goal you have, whether it be to get 50 people, whether it be to get a subscriber count or a view count, or just to do it, just because you think it's fun to do, stick to that goal. If you want to take it seriously, obviously, it requires investing. The biggest thing you're going to invest is time. That's even more than money. You want to invest your time. Money comes along later. You can build up to that. If you're working or whatever you're working, scrounge up a few dollars. You can build up the money portion of it. But just invest some time if you take it serious. But once again, not too serious to where you feel like you're working a full-time job. Because you're going to get burnt out. All of us take care of our families and we work regular jobs. And you don't want it to feel that way, So you want to come home and be able to decompress. Because, like I said, for me, the podcast every week is a fix for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I get my fix by doing the show or by being on other podcasts. So, but just have fun. Don't forget that. Don't lose sight of why you started.
When we first were messaging, DMing each other over Twitter, and we were trying to figure out the time zone situation for us. I was just like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, our podcast is pretty early for you. I'm like, is he going to be able to make it? Is he not? And I was kind of concerned, but once you said, you're like, no, we'll be good. We'll make it. I was like, all right. I was like, perfect. Because I know it's kind of hard for us, us East Coasters to get with the West Coast side. Mm-hmm. So MJ, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Wait, so what headset are you using now?
What am I? I have a HyperX's. The Hyper.
They sound really clean.
Mm-hmm. They're really good, man. They're super comfortable. They're well built. The quality is what I like. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They have different versions now, so they have some really expensive ones, the mid-grade, and they have the lower end, but they're all really high quality. And I've gone through I'm pretty sure we can all attest to going through about 10 different 20 headsets, probably breaking, the ear stopped working, whatever the case may be. And these ones have been phenomenal. I bought 2 sets, one for me, one for my wife, and they've been great. So I hopefully at some point, I'm gonna shoot them an email to maybe get some, maybe the sponsorship or something. That would be amazing. But, I really enjoy them, man.
So I used to use the Razer headsets all the time. But those things broke on me. Like I went through so many. I would go through like 1 or 2, well, not 2, but like maybe like 1 every 2 years.
That's actually
pretty. I'm like, these things are so expensive. I don't want them to break. And when I got these, I ended up picking up the SteelSeries ones, probably about a year and a half ago. And these things are still working great. They're the wireless ones. Yeah. I mean, they were worth the money, and I was very, very surprised how well they ended up working with the.
Yeah, I have the Astro 840s, and once I got the TR Pro amp, and I connect to the PC, I haven't had any problem. I seriously think that having to take your cord in and out tends to like mess up the system somehow.
It does.
Mm-hmm. And then wireless, because of the frequency they work on and all the other shit that we have going on, like the signal is always messing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing that with this headset, I actually never plug it into the PC for it to work. I plug it into power through USB cord, like an iPhone plug-in or whatever.
Yeah.
But it still works wirelessly, and I still haven't had any problems. So I wonder if that's been helping or not helping it. So, El, do you have any questions? Because I'm sitting, or MJ, I'm just sitting here, chatting and blabbing with the guys. So don't. I'm sorry. I'm Italian. I'm used to you have to cut the other person off before you can kind of go with the next conversation. So you just gotta go with it.
So what's your main console? Do you have the 1X or do you have the S or the big one?
No. So all three are S's. I don't have an X. I decided because the S's work just fine for me.
Yep.
I decided that I'm not gonna make the jump, especially now. It's no point now. I mean, the new systems are coming out next year, so I'm buying that. Obviously, when that drops, Scarlet, whatever the name is gonna be. So I'm working with three S's right now. So that's a perfect setup for me. They do what they're supposed to do. I still get the 4K and the Blu-ray drive and all that good stuff. So I don't get the hardware. I don't get the beefy, upgrades, things like that. But it works for what I need it for now. So I didn't feel the need at the time to just go out and buy an X just for a graphical update or a power upgrade. So I'm cool with what I got now. But obviously next year I'm all over those new consoles for sure.
I'm gonna tell you, the Division looks really nice with the new console. With the new
I know it does. I know it does. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
I'm not biased or anything, but
Well, you play on PC. You play Division on PC.
Yeah.
See, you're speaking from a different ballpark than I'm at over here, though. So
yeah, well, I have Division 2 for PC, and I have it also for my Xbox. So I have it for both. So it's not like I'm sitting there saying I can't tell the difference, because I've seen the difference. But remember how we were talking about my Xbox? I finally figured it out. I have an old fat boy. I don't have the S. I have one of the original Xbox Ones, not one of the
you got the day one.
Yeah, so I have one of the bad ones. So that might also be part of it.
That probably is. Yeah.
But,
So what console do you think you're gonna buy first for next gen? Are you gonna go with the PS5 or the Scarlet?
Well, the Scarlet, because that's where all my friends play. You know what I'm saying? It just so we do this console war thing, and it's so funny because we're really like 10-year-olds at the playground when it comes to that. Because we really, honestly, the reason I play on Xbox is because that's where all my friends play. There's really no other reason. You know what I'm saying? So, the PS4, I'm looking into getting the PS5 as well because my daughter actually prefers PlayStation because of the JRPGs. The access to JRPGs on that system. So that's probably going to be something. We're probably going to have both, more than likely.
You got to get her the Switch, and you got to get her Fire Emblem.
Yeah. The Switch is probably a better option. I was thinking about that too for her because of the mobility, and then obviously she'll be able to come home and play it. And yeah, they got some good JRPG offers on the Switch, like you said, Fire Emblem and Ni no Kuni and all the other kind of games. So yeah.
Both of those.
I bought the new Zelda and I haven't even played it. I said I was gonna play it tonight.
Link's Awakening? Nice.
Did you ever play the original for Game Boy?
I believe so, but I don't want to say for sure because I can't remember. Really.
I did. I know I did. So, fun fact here: Ocarina of Time is my favorite game, bar none. All time. Doesn't matter what system. So,
but I didn't play it on the Game Boy. Was it on the Game Boy?
It was. Which one? You talking about Ocarina? Or Super Nintendo had Ocarina of Time.
Nintendo Ocarina of Time, yeah.
Oh, okay, because that's the one I enjoy because I like playing the flute.
Yeah.
I was like, I get to play a little song.
So when you tell me when they brought Majora's Mask out, and you had to use the ocarina every hour, you were like, I love this.
Yeah, this is my jam.
Do you know that there's an app on your iPhone which is the Zelda Ocarina, and you can play it?
Did you know that you can buy one from GameStop?
I didn't know that.
I knew that you could, but that's cheating though. Well, you can.
How's that cheating?
No, it's not really cheating.
No, you can play it wrong.
Getting the iPhone's cheating.
No, you can play it wrong. If you play it you click the right notes and it plays the full song, and if you do it wrong, it I don't know. It was pretty cool. Somebody showed me.
This is you stupid.
Yeah.
Be like, nerd, put me away.
I know, right?
But that's I thought the ocarinas were pretty cool when they introduced those, and I was like that's a really cool concept because it was the N64 the first time they introduced the ocarina, right?
Ocarina, yeah, that was 64. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had like the 4 buttons on the top and stuff like
Yep.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Yep.
That was awesome. That's cool. So, do you have any more questions, LB?
No.
No.
I got one. So once you said how Aaron Greenberg joined your podcast. What was your viewership before he joined the podcast? Like, what was that spike? Did he like promote it? Did he tweet it out?
He did. He actually did. So both of them did. Him and Chris. So Tim did it first, and then like, well, what happened? So he came in because what happened? Tim was like, well, I don't know if he's gonna come, and I'm like, well, yeah, I sent him the link. I'm not sure. It was taking him quite a while. Tim was like, well, he might not even have Hangouts. I'm like, how doesn't he have Hangouts? He's an executive. I'm sure he has Hangouts. So when he actually jumped in randomly, you can go back and watch it. It's one of the first videos on my channel. You'll see me like, whoa, he's actually here, and it did shoot up quite a bit. I mean, before I was sitting in there, maybe we had 20 people. Then once he got in there, it ended up being like 150 people or something like that. Immediately, like right away once the tweet went out. So it was pretty surprising, and I didn't realize it till after the show was over, and we were just behind the scenes, like just in the lobby talking, me, him, and Tim, and everybody. And then we everybody left, and I'm looking at my numbers. I'm like, holy moly, there was that many people in the show. So it didn't hit me right away. I was just so stuck in the moment because I didn't actually expect him to come in. So it was really, really for my very first podcast. It was crazy. I was blown
What was
away.
your viewership the next podcast as soon as you started it?
I still did pretty good numbers. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was.
That helped
I'd have
you like
to go
build
back.
a community.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got off to a great start. I got off to a great start. So that definitely helped me get off to a good start. So yeah, it was. I didn't never ever think that was a thing, because I mean when he said that he was watching, I'm like, why are you? My first thought was, what, like, why? How did that happen? Like, how'd you end up looking at my podcast? This is my first podcast ever, so like, it's not like I had a big community and I was known or anything like that. So I'm not even sure. I didn't even ask him how it happened. I still haven't asked him to this day, how he found me and how that whole backstory went. So I probably will ask. I could probably DM him and hit him up and see what happened.
Did you ever have that feeling of like you were like starstruck, like you were fanboying on something, or someone, I should say?
No. Well, yeah, initially, yeah, that show. But I've had some pretty, good people on the show. Obviously, none that's probably as big as that since then. But no, I didn't feel like I was just trying to keep my composure and like talk straight. You know what I mean? I was just trying to get the questions out, not sound, stumble over my own words and things like that. So it was more about just kind of being cool and asking the questions. And obviously, there was things that I couldn't ask that I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Because we were afterwards talking, I asked him a couple other things that I couldn't ask on air. So it was one of those kind of humbling situations where I'm like, man, this is actually like I felt like, man, this is something I never thought would happen, and it happened immediately,
Born Distracted said PTK's got connections.
I don't know about that. It just, I don't even, once again, Born, I don't even know how that happened. I still haven't asked him to this day where he found me and why he watched me and what he was sitting there, because he did it from his office at work. He was at I guess Xbox up in Seattle, Redmond, and he was at work. And then he brought Chris in as well, Money Rumble. I guess they were both in there having some kind of meeting, and they just both jumped in. So
they're all hanging out, having lunch, and they're like, "Hey, you want to just drop on this guy's podcast and say what's going on? How's it going?"
It was cool. So I know the one thing about it though, I think it may have been Tim, because Tim, they have a real cool. They talk in person. All these other things. Tim goes to every E3. They got a good relationship. So it could have been maybe Tim put the word out. Maybe he just hit him up and said, "Hey, I'm on the show. Want to come on?" I don't know. I'd have to ask Tim as well. I'm not sure.
So let me, MJ. You have any more questions?
I do not.
You're good. All right.
Yeah.
And L, you sure you're good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. So one final question for you, which I like to ask all of our guests, because I think it's kind of a unique question to ask everybody, because a lot of people they really they kind of think about it. So if you could live in one video game or fantasy world, what would it be? I'm talking about like, would you want to be in the wonderful world of Harry Potter? Would you want to be with the lands of Star Wars, Mass Effect? Would you want to be, Halo, Tekken? I don't know, like Mortal Kombat. Like Marvel? What would you say is one of the things you would like to do?
That is a great damn question. That's an extremely good question. Caught me off guard a little bit. Let's see. Oh man, all of
So
those sound
that's why
extremely dangerous.
that's why I hold on to the
Um,
questions to the end.
yeah. Just what I throwing practicality out the window, like my health and my life sake, because a lot of universes are extreme. You could walk out the door and get destroyed, like get Thanos or something.
Yeah.
But besides that, living, I don't know. Living probably in a Marvel would be kind of cool because just for an everyday person in Marvel, like even the like off characters, like you could see so much cool stuff random. Like you can be out getting a slice of pizza and see like Spider-Man just swinging like around, like doing crazy stuff and Hulk and all. The only thing about that, like I said, is that like your city may be destroyed like every week. Like half the city may be destroyed like every single week. So that's the only thing about it. But I think Marvel would be really, really fun, just because the randomness that can happen in a universe. I mean, there's so many superheroes, and that could so many things that can happen on like a universal level. You can have aliens show up one day, then the next day it's a mad scientist, and 2 days later it's some sea creature. You never know. So I think it'd be pretty fun. It'd never be a dull day for sure.
You ever think that their insurance was really high? They have like
Oh my
superhero
goodness.
insurance.
I know, right? There has to be some insurance company is getting paid, man. They're
Yeah.
making a whole lot of money. It's probably Acme. You know Acme from the Looney Tunes? They
Yeah.
probably got an office in the middle of like the Marvel universe or something. So I don't know, but yeah, it would be fun though. Never adult.
I can't think of the TV show. There's a TV show that it's essentially a bunch of guys that work in an office building, and they build tech to protect themselves from like things that happen in those types of universes. It was a comedy. I'm blanking on the name of it. Oh man, it's gonna kill me.
Yeah, when you figure it out, shoot me a message.
Yeah, I'll look it. I'll look it up. I know exactly the person that was that remember.
Sounds like a cool concept though.
It was a really cool concept. It was really good. It was there for a full season, and then they ixnayed it, which is kind of annoying. But Vanessa Hudgens was in it.
What if they had like a superhero insurance, like, because wouldn't that be kind of cool to find like the backstory on how that worked? Not a backstory, but like a show that showed like how that all worked, like as far as like an insurance company that insured like superheroes.
That's why I liked watching it, because it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was like, what happens when Batman decides to fly over an area and drop debris, and then the guys are like, oh, you can pull out this umbrella that protects your head from like dropping debris and stuff like that. It was really cool. I'm gonna have to get the name and I'll message it to you.
Nice. Okay.
So tell us where can people find you?
All right, so PTK Blam on Xbox Live, my first and last name on Twitter as well. Follow me on Twitter. That's kind of the hub. You can everything that's going on with my YouTube channel, you can always find it there first. Any new posts, updates. Recently, I've been asking the community give me feedback on any way to improve the show, good or bad. I'm not a sensitive guy, so I'll take whatever you guys give me. Use it to try and make the show better. So just taking suggestions there, and then on Xbox Live, obviously, if you want a game, give me their PTK Blam across the board. So then Saturdays, every Saturday, 6 p.m. Arizona time. I'm sorry, I'm not doing the time for each individual time zone, but you'll figure it out. Get yourself, Google it, whatever the case may be. Every single Saturday. So appreciate being on the show today, man. You guys are all amazing. This is a cool concept, man. I feel like everybody should want to be on this show. So I'm definitely gonna make sure, make my, people that follow me aware of the show, because you guys do a great job and you're an awesome host as well.
Thank you very much, and I greatly appreciate you.
It's all Pete.
What's up?
I said it's all Pete.
Oh no, it's definite team effort. Trust me, I would never be doing this if it wasn't for you guys for backing me up and doing everything that we do together. So I appreciate it, and thank you guys. So Elle, why don't you tell us where you are and when we're gonna see you again on Mixer?
All right. Well, I'm typically everywhere. LBoogie0208. And hopefully tomorrow again I'll stream. I stream for about an hour today. But yeah, I'm on Mixer, Twitter, and hopefully I'll have a schedule out soon. So
yes, I want
keep
your schedule.
watch.
I want your schedule.
Right?
I want your schedule.
Oh my god, like yeah, I just like turned it on for whatever reason earlier, but yeah, I need a real schedule.
Well, I'm happy that you're back. I'm happy to see your smiling avatar.
Thanks.
MJ, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at BatyMJ, or you can find me on Twitch as at MJ as a boss. I'll be back on Twitch here in probably a week or so, or maybe even a couple days, because I just set everything up in my dorm. I configured everything, cable management, so I should be starting up again soon.
Excellent.
So
Awesome.
make sure to stop by.
Awesome. The college dorm man.
Yep.
So excellent. Happy that you're you're able to come back and with that amazing beard.
The Kratos beard.
The Kratos beard? Is that what we're gonna call it? The Kratos beard.
It's getting there though.
Oh man, if you have a Kratos beard by Christmas, I'll give you $20. I will PayPal you $20. So
I'll go get the mask.
Our last member of our table who was unable to be able to come tonight. It was Old School Style. He is he got nailed again with another night shift. So hopefully he's back very, very soon. Old School Style, he is on Twitter, and he also has a podcast called Old School Tech Talk on YouTube. If you guys want to go check him out, he's pretty cool. He's pretty awesome. I am Snaldo, SNALYDO. You can go check me out on pretty much everything on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, well, not Facebook, Twitch. I'm on Twitch Monday to Friday from 7 to 10, unless I am here doing this podcast with everybody. So by all means, come check me out, hit that follow button. I'd like to thank all of our viewers for coming today to hang out and keeping that chat going, which is awesome. I greatly appreciate you guys coming in. It's pretty great. And I'd like to say we're going to have the episode up on iTunes, Twitter, Spotify, and all of that stuff come Wednesday morning. If you want to go follow us to get notifications, it is Streamtable. That is our Twitter handle. For some reason why Roundtable with the Stream Team was just too long and it wouldn't work. So I had to figure out a smaller way to do that for everybody. And if anyone has any questions that they want to ask guests or anything like that for what we have in the future, please, by all means, send us an email at roundtablestreamteam@gmail.com. I have that open for anyone that wants to shoot an email in, and we're there and we're taking questions. Just a reminder, Ironlords Podcast is on. It's Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go check out lordsofgaming.net. We have multiple different articles and things like that, gaming news, tech talks, video game reviews. Our podcasts are up on there. We have a lot of stuff up there. I can't tell you how much I see the authors conversing and the editors. I mean, the effort that those guys put in, it's crazy and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Iron Lords as well. You guys are you're with a really, really good set of guys. So yeah, they're amazing. They're one of my favorite podcasts to watch on a consistent basis, and I don't watch very many of them.
Yeah, they're a great group of guys, and I'm telling you, some of the conversations that they have are it's so funny. This last week, oh my God, I can't tell you, I was crying for probably about a good hour or two.
Yeah.
When they were going through it, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
So, just remember, everybody, thank you very much. Like I said, follow us on Twitter, and remember, everybody, dream big and keep on gaming. So, have a great one, and we'll see you guys all later.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.